Good morning and welcome to Your World Uncensored on AM 970, The Answer.
How you doing? Welcome to 970 AM, Your World Uncensored, Average Joe Radio. Welcome to the best show on the planet. Your host, Rossi, here with Mr. Olympia, with a very special guest with us today, Mr. Ted Martinez. He's the real deal. He is provocative. He is a former gang member, a former drug dealer. He transformed his life from bad to good. And we have him with us here in the studio today. And this is going to be some enticing interview. Studio call number 866-970-9622. Mr. Martinez, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing pretty good. Mr. Olympio, how are you?
Great day today. Thank you once again for having me here. And Ted, it's a true pleasure to have you here this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. You certainly have had some past, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what they say.
I'm trying to, if I could, is there any way I'd like to describe to our audience out there how Mr. Martinez looks, his size. You have the physique of like a young Joe Frazier, but much more muscular. Has anybody ever told you that before?
No.
How was you? We had some interaction outside before we came into the studio. I was getting ready to use the bathroom, and you were outside on your telephone there. I thought you were going to punch my lights out.
Nah, because you were trying to go in the bathroom with me, so No,
never that. But would you say that you did observe? Was I acting a little sneaky out there with you initially? Be honest.
Yeah, so you gotta always be suspicious of people.
From your past, your gang background, your thug life background, what did you think when you first saw me, sir?
What did I think?
Yeah.
I mean, I figured, coming up in this environment, I figured you was part of the show.
Absolutely.
Much,
Well, anyway, it's a pleasure to see you. So you got started in your. When did you get started? How was your life as a youngster, sir? What got you around? What got you into the drug game as a youngster?
Got me into the drug game.
Yeah.
I think that I didn't start off in the drug game like the average kid. I think my story is a little different because I think that in growing up in the inner city, we people have tendency to think that we all are at a disadvantage, and even though that we are, I did have advantages in my life, but I think a serious bad choices led me to the drug game.
Did you have both your parents growing up as a youngster?
Yeah, I had both my parents, but my dad, he wasn't, he's not a man of a voice, he's a man more of an action. So, my mom was the primary, disciplinarian and so forth, and we did a lot of things. And, she stayed sick most of the year. So, a lot of times that when my sisters and my brother and I, we pretty much raised ourselves.
So your father was around, but he really wasn't around.
He was around, but, yeah, he wasn't really around, So,
When did your life turn bad? When did you start getting into the drug game, and when did you start getting into the gang life? How old were you?
I was about 20-something around the time.
20 years old. And what year was this, roughly, so we could describe to the audience the years? The 90s, the late 80s?
Yeah, early 90s.
What were the youngsters dressing like out there on the block? What was the wardrobe?
I mean, it's pretty much the same now. It's pretty much, we did the Levi's with the stitched in, the stitched in creatures, and, we did the Carl Canard jeans and so forth. So it was pretty much back then. The attire is the same. Only thing with difference is the designers. We wasn't sagging and all that like they do now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or, the sneakers, the Jordans were still the hot sneakers, and,
the Timberlands.
Timberlands, Adidas, and.
Did they have the cars that move around up and down on the block? Or not really, like they do now?
Well, yeah, we had, I'm not going to say use the word fortunate, but, the level of drugs that we sold, we were one of the ones that had the cars with the TVs and the headrests back then, and then the white America, they was looking at us like, look at these guys with these TVs and the headrests, and now everybody got TVs and the headrests.
They had TV, probably had a masseuse. Were you making that much money? You had a masseuse in the car as well, or no?
No, we didn't have no masseuse in the car. We just had the TVs and the license plate that come down, flop up, and the oil come out. I mean, you guys probably read about it back then. With the stash spots and things of that nature, we that's what we was doing back then.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing at the time when I was doing surveillance for narcotics in Patterson Police Department, the big thing was the 8-ball jacket. Remember the 8-ball jacket, Ted?
Jackets, yeah.
I would sit up on a surveillance and say red 8-ball jacket, blue 8-ball jacket, blue jeans, and give the description out. That was the big thing at that time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, right, with the 8-ball. Well, I didn't know too much about that. I would only see those things in the movies and stuff like that. But
well, I'll tell you, they weren't cheap. They were about a couple $100 for those jackets.
You could pretty much tell who was pretty much out there was making a little change because, even you had the Pele jackets and, we went from a transformation from Gazelle glasses to the Kangos to the Adidas and, to the 8-ball jackets to the Pele, you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty much.
What was one event in your life that when you said, what was an event that really transformed your life? You said, listen, I'm going to change. This is going to be my job. What was the event that did that? Was there one event?
Job into the illegal activity?
Yeah.
Well,
was there something that really got you angry? You said, listen, I'm done with trying to live a normal life. I'm going to turn into a bad guy now. I'm going to make my money doing illegal things.
No, it wasn't something that I think that the game chose me. I didn't choose the game.
How did the game choose you, sir?
I mean, because the environment that I grew up in, I made, like I say, a series of bad choices I made because I did I went to college, you know what I'm saying? I did the Army Reserve thing, and then, I worked in the sheriff department for about 18 months, and I just got tired. And then, I went home. I'm living in the projects, and I'm sitting on a bench. And as I'm sitting on the bench, that's when you got guys that's out there like, well, let's go do this. Let's do this. So, it sounds good, and it was enticing.
So these thugs, and that they saw something in you, didn't they? They must have seen something to approach you. They didn't just approach anybody.
Yeah, I don't think they was thugs. I think they was, they just average, like you say, the average Joes. You know what I'm saying? The average drug dealers. Steve, know a couple of guys. I mean, wasn't so much.
I think what it becomes is survival, Ted, and we've discussed this a few times. What happens is, you're out there, you're not making any money on a regular job. Your education, in Ted's case, he did have an education because it always comes down to socioeconomics. But with these kids, they have nowhere. They have no education. They have nowhere to go, and the block is always there. That's an open application for a job. Exactly. It never turns you back, or it turns you down.
And the fact is, when the opportunity presented itself, we went out of town, which we call OT.
Yeah.
And and the thing about it, my natural leadership abilities kicked in. So I was an enhancement to these guys that was doing this for years. See, they was out there for years hustling, and they were stagnated. So when I came in and brought it to the table, they was able to see money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then we just took it to a whole new level.
How much money were you making? How much money could they make in those days? A real good one.
Back then, it all depends. Like when you go out of town, it all depends on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it depends on what you're moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I say, this is a censored show, so I don't want to give too much details, but it depends on what you're moving. If you're moving weight, then, you can make money. But in the city and in Patterson, there's really no money in the city. That's why, you got guys, to me, I'm not glorifying this, I'm just saying, if you're a smart guy, you wouldn't want to just, pretty much hustle in your own backyard. You want to go on the road because you make more money.
Now, when you say go on the road, is that like when the Yankees go on the road and go away to Florida?
Well, they get a paycheck, but they get a signed check. But the difference is, it's like, yeah, you go to Florida, you go out of town, and, so quite naturally, what you bring from New York and you go to say like D.C. or somewhere, the prices change. When you take that trip down 95, the prices elevate. You know what I'm saying?
So you went on the road. You went from, where did you wind up? You wound up in Baltimore, correct?
Yeah, wound up in Baltimore. I did something. Well, my first trip was to South Carolina, which was really pretty much peanuts. So
yeah.
But when I wound up in Baltimore, it was pretty much it was pretty much, like an eye opener because I have relatives down there and they're telling you like, yo, this is a violent city.
Now, was it like The Wire? We show The Wire where there are bodies buried in the abandoned buildings. Was it like that?
Yeah, it's pretty much like The Wire, but it's more grimy. See, the thing about The Wire didn't depict the entire, how the dynamics of the.
What was missing? We had the abandoned bodies in the building. We had the we had the drug scene there. We had the clothes. What was missing?
I think what was missing was the one of the things I think was missing was the impact on the victims and how the retaliation of, how people truly retaliate and the cause and effect of the drug culture as a whole. I don't think they really hit that in the head because I think that they pretty much was because of TV, they softened it up but it's more grimy than that because, you got a kid down in this, 14, 13, it's like they sniffing heroin. I don't think they put all that out there like that,
One word to sum up the cause and effect.
One word? Well, I guess like Steve said, you really can't sum it up in one word because I think it's a multi-pronged like situation. Like when you it's like you could say, people always say blame it on the parents or the school system or the police. It's like you got a kid that's 7 years old that's both parents is on drugs, but you guys, and I say you guys, I'm going to say white America, you guys quick to say, well, then, he can make the right decisions. He can't make the right decisions. At 7 years old, when he become 9, 10 years old, this is all he know. He know this environment. So I think it's a misconception that people have of the inner city, because you have a lot of kids, let Steve work with them daily, that he knows that they really don't. They're raising themselves.
So they're a product. They're a product of the environment. When you were new out there on the block, you came out there to Baltimore. You were new. Did people recognize you? They say the streets always knows. Did they know who you were?
The people don't care about what you knew, because I had big 20s. So when I say you got big 20s, they don't care how new you is or who you are, because if you could tell them a 20 that's $10, and they get in the wholesale, everything, you gotta understand this, right? And I'm not, like I said, I'm not bragging or anything on that post, but what I did was, I don't think the average dude did or can do, because you figure it's about marketing and strategy. If you take, a marketing, if I come down and sell something that's worth $10, I'm going to sell it for, it's worth $20, I'm going to sell it for $10. So my customer base is going to come in. So that's what that made dudes gravitate to me.
Well, just like in the real world, like Amazon.com, it's all about business. It's all about getting the best price.
Well, I think it becomes supply and demand.
Yeah.
Most of the times. I mean, if you could make a $10 profit, that's 100% profit. That's an amazing profit to make.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be coming back next segment. We have Mr. Teddy Martinez here. He was a former drug dealer, former bad guy, former gang member. We're talking about his past. Studio call number 866-970-9622. Your World Uncensored. We'll be back.
If you suffer from knee pain or numbness to your legs or arms, call Medwell at 201-848-8000. Medwell, located in northern New Jersey, are a panel of elite team of doctors and therapists providing non-surgical knee pain treatment and drug-free care. They also provide natural testosterone treatment to end your fatigue and enhance your energy, weight loss, and libido. Most insurance plans accepted. Call for a same-day consultation and treatment at 201-848-8000. 201-848-8000.
Dello Russo Laser Vision, conveniently located in the New York metro area, are the most experienced blade-free LASIK professionals, having performed over 100,000 LASIK procedures in over 20 years. Call them today at 800-EYE-CARE for your complimentary, cost-free consultation. Ask about 0% financing. Call today, 800-393-2273, or go to DelloRussoLaserVision.com.
The Brooklyn Wall of Remembrance in MCU, formerly Keith Band Park, stands as a graceful and beautiful tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice on September 11th, 2001. Comprised of 3 30-by-12-foot granite walls, the Coney Island Memorial contains the laser-engraved images of 346 firefighters, 37 Port Authority officers, 23 New York City police officers, 3 NYS officers, 1 fire patrol, first responders, and 1 canine rescue dog named Sirius. Touched by the magnitude of their sacrifice, Brooklyn-born and raised Sal Moglin conceived of the idea for a memorial. On the wall, their portraits form a powerful, unforgettable testament, eloquently spoken, reminding us these are real people behind the names and numbers of September 11th. Please visit www.brooklynwall.org for more information. www.brooklynwall.org.
Midland Anesthesia and Pain Management have multiple alternatives to classic back surgery to ease your pain due to herniated and bulging discs, sciatica. Our professional staff performs minimally invasive procedures such as epidural injections, facet injections, and nerve root blocks to release you from a restrictive lifestyle due to pain. Our knowledgeable physicians will individualize a treatment plan to return you to optimal health. Call Midland Anesthesia and Pain Management to schedule your appointment today at 973-685-7121. That's 973-685-7121. We're located at 190 Midland Avenue in Settlebrook, New Jersey. That's 973-685-7121. 21.
Hurricane Sandy left many people without vehicles. The staff at All American Ford have dedicated themselves to giving you the biggest savings on every car, truck, van, and SUV in stock, with savings up to $10,000 off MSRP, plus an additional $500 in Hurricane Sandy relief cash. Our stores are open with full inventory. We even have hybrid and electric cars ready for immediate delivery. Head to All American Ford in Hackensack, Paramus, Old Bridge, or Kingston, or visit us at allamericanford.net. If you have damage to your vehicle, our service centers and body shop are up and running. Plus, we can assist you with your insurance claim. We even have a fleet of flatbed trucks for free pickup and delivery. So, for savings up to $10,000, $500 in relief cash, and the lowest prices ever, go to All American Ford, River Street, Hackensack, Route 17, Paramus, Route 9 in Old Bridge, or Route 28 in Kingston, or visit allamericanford.net. Now, more than ever, everyone can afford an All American Ford.
Welcome back to Your World Uncensored on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back. Studio call number 866-970-9622, 866-970-9622. Your World Uncensored here with Mr. Teddy Martinez, former drug dealer, former bad guy turned good, transformed his life. Now, when you were out there on the block in Baltimore, did anybody ever try to buy drugs with food stamps? Or like an EBT card?
No, EBT cards, they didn't have EBT cards back then.
They did.
Yeah, but, of course, food stamps, that was money. You know what I'm saying? But, as a drug dealer, you want to sell some drugs with food stamps because, you get more money.
Now, were they rocking those gold-plated teeth in those days as well?
Yeah. Like, most of the cats, like I said, that's an identification of, back then, I think gold plates was the thing. Gold crowns was the thing all over, not just in, like, Baltimore, but, like, even in Patterson. I think, all across the nation, really, right? I think gold,
As we on around.
Yeah, everybody. White guys was trying to get gold crowns.
Did anybody? No, some of the white guys were out there. Were they ever out there in their like in the middle of the winter with their boxer shorts and the T-shirt trying to buy anything? Sometimes they say that a lot of the white guys don't dress, the cold weather.
They come in not boxes, but they come in the T-shirts and stuff. They got the kids in the car, and they coming from Franklin Lakes, and you know what I'm saying. You want them. Those are the ones that you want.
Did they ever? They would come with their families, actually, huh?
Yeah, they come with their family. They come with their kids, their wife. You know what I'm saying. They come, and the thing about it is that it was pretty much a thing where you guys, when they come, that you guys don't, as a police officers, they wasn't treated the way they should have been treated because they knew that these guys was in the city buying drugs.
Well, I could tell you what. Actually, these drug dealers are pretty smart because they will never mess around with their customers. You have never heard of a customer being ripped off or, being hijacked. There's been cases in Patterson, but it's very minimal. My question to you, Ted, is you moved the operation to Baltimore. You're making some cash there. Life is good. It's the bad life, but it's good. You're living it up. You got some bling going on. You get shot the first time. How do you feel at that point? What do you say? Me personally, you would think that, common sense or, the fear factor would come in. I think I became more vicious. I became more violent, I would say, you know what I'm saying, because you become more alert, you know what I'm saying? You become more, angry. You become more, you become more, like, this is more street. Your tolerance level is a whole different. It's a whole different ball game. You're not trying to hear nothing. You're not playing around no more. This is serious business. You know what I'm saying? It's when somebody stand over top of you and shoot you 11 times. And you trusted these people. You sit back and you think about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is a serious game. Prior to that, you trust people, and then you take that. You know what I'm saying? See, the whole game is dead. Hustling game is dead because you got betrayal on that end. You got to worry about the police, you know what I'm saying? You worry about snitches, you know what I'm saying? Now you got to worry about dudes trying to rob you, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, what I found out is that, which is kind of strange, you get shot 11 times, you survive. You're alive, you wake up, and do you say, you know what, this game ain't for me?
Nah.
You jump right back into it.
Jump back in because, like, to me, back then, that's part of the culture, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't, plus you in too deep, you know what I'm saying? You going to walk away from, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't walk away from, you got, all this work and all this money. You don't walk away from that back then. You know what I'm saying? The smart thing would be to walk away, but you don't walk away from that. You know what I'm saying? You got, no matter, you got some dudes, you got people get shot one time and they tear up, they change their life. You got people that witness somebody get shot, they change their life. But for some of us, I'm just saying, like, that's what gives me the ability to really relate to a lot of these kids that's going through now in the city, because what they're going through now, I already been through.
Right. You
know what I'm saying? Like, some guys, you could talk about it, but I walked through it. And, some people would say, maybe they, sometimes people may have doubt. Well, did that guy really go through it? But, when you go to the University of Maryland and look at the medical records and you see, like, or if I go through the airport, you still see the bullet fragments in my chest. You still see the bullet fragments in my head. You still feel the bullets in my arms and my neck. You know what I'm saying? So, it's nothing superficial about that. It's just that, you got a kid who pretty much was bouncing all over the place and was bouncing from drugs to violence, you know what I'm saying, and the thing about it was, you really never had individuals like an OG say, this is what you do or what you shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? We're making it up as we go along.
Here, usually the thing on the street is, there's only two ways out: jail or getting shot.
Yeah.
In your case, which is an amazing story, you get shot, you live, you go to jail, and you serve a 15-year prison term.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, Ted. When you're sitting in that courthouse and you're told you're going to be spending the rest of your life, the rest of your 15 years of your life in jail, what runs through your mind at that point?
I was actually sentenced to a life sentence. You know what I'm saying? What ended up happening was they cross-referenced me, and for like I was arrested on homicide for like on 12 different occasions. So they had the arrest, and then I beat 3, so they cross-referenced me, and in the midst of that, they used those 3, which I didn't know, to enhance the sentence. And when they do that, you don't know that. This is things that about the law you don't know. You're not a cousin. Even some of the attorneys don't know this. But that's your fight. And you be like, me personally, I'm going to be honest. I turned around and I looked and I cried. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was crying because I was upset about what I did. I was angry. I wanted to throw a chair at the judge. I wanted to hit the prosecutor. But you can't do that when you pretty much.
And 50 years is a long time.
Yeah. So.
But what people don't understand is that this is very common in the urban areas of the cities of Patterson, Camden, Newark, Passaic. Those cities are the youths and even the adults are exposed to that, and they're pretty common thing to go through.
Yeah, because you think about the portion, how the drug they weigh crack cocaine. In the urban community, crack cocaine is prevalent, of course. Powder cocaine is pretty much in the suburbs, and it's like a 10-to-1, 100-to-1. So if you sell, you got to have 100 keys to 1 key of crack. 100 keys of powder cocaine will get you 10 years, but 1 key of crack will get you the same 10 years. It's just not fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they knowing that in the urban community, so it's pretty much is it by design? I mean, they know this. You know what I'm saying? But you go back to Congress and how Congress fought on how to try to get the levels changed and stuff like that. And just recently they came and they try to make it better, but it's not making it better because at the end of the day, if a kid get caught with 50 grams of crack in the urban community, he still could get 10 years. But let a kid get caught with 5 keys of powder cocaine in a suburb, he's get that same time.
Now, what is worse? What is worse? If someone gets caught with that, or somebody gets caught snitching on the block? What happens to a snitch, a real rat?
A real rat, what's supposed to happen to him?
Yeah. Some of these guys become detectives, don't they? Nah.
What you trying to insinuate?
No, like some of these guys are, they're working. A lot of these guys, the good ones, are working with the police anyway. But some of them get a. What happens to a snitch, though? What should happen? Do they honor that stuff?
You say what should happen?
Not.
I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios. I'm not condoning either way. I'm just gonna give it to you cut and dry.
Yeah.
What should happen is, what I'm saying, I think me personally, I wouldn't even. The snitch ain't got nothing to do with this situation.
Right.
People can say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna give it to you like this. I think that your entire family should be eradicated. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that you're involved in something. And when you're involved in that, you pretty much took, it's the difference between a snitch and a witness. You know what I'm saying? If me and you went out there and us 3 robbed the bank and you snitching and you're pretty much
We'll be back next segment. We'll touch back on that. We're coming back, third segment in the studio, 866-9709-622, Mr. Teddy Martinez. Your World Uncensored. We'll be back.
News, opinion, passion. This is AM 970, The Answer.
It's 39 degrees. We still have a mostly overcast sky, but sunshine could be on the way this afternoon in the mid-40s. Good morning. What's going on? We have the answer. Police responding to a 911 call found the body of a 43-year-old man in a burned-out building on 95th Avenue in Queens. The fire deemed suspicious. The identity of the body, which was severely burned, has yet to be released. The investigation is continuing. A Morris County man who shot his wife shortly after she requested a divorce has pleaded guilty to attempted murder. David Knoll has also pleaded guilty to contempt of court and weapons offenses stemming from the November 2010 shooting. The 54-year-old Rockaway Township man is facing up to 11 years behind bars when he's sentenced in April. The debate over the New York City school teacher evaluation system and when it will finally be in place will continue. New York City Mayor Bloomberg explained the urgency to finally get a deal in place and ready to go.
The bottom line is we've got to come up with an evaluation system so that we can help those teachers who need help and remove those teachers who, after they get help or refuse help, can't teach.
Bloomberg says he's hopeful that a deal with the teachers union can be reached soon, but it needs to be comprehensive and worthwhile for the students. Utility bills could be going up for JCP&L customers. The provider has filed a rate request increase to cover costs for rebuilding. After Hurricane Sandy, the average home could increase up to 4.5%. That'll translate to about $60 a year. In sports, the Islanders were the lone winners last night. The Devils and the Rangers both lost, and traffic, not really a whole lot of it right now. Around New Jersey, we're pretty quiet on the Turnpike and the Parkway. 80 and 17, no problems on 208. Traffic is good along Route 4. Maybe some limited sunshine this afternoon. In the mid-40s, you now know what's going on. I'm Chris Marrara, AM 970, The Answer.
The Kaplan Center for Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery at 725 River Road in Edgewater, New Jersey is the only place to go if you need Botox and facial rejuvenation, breast augmentation, liposuction, lacerations, workers' comp cases, hand and finger injuries, skin moles, carpal tunnel, and much more. Call Dr. Gordon M. Kaplan at 201-786-1977, 201-786-1977. Discounted rates for union members. Most insurance is accepted. The Kaplan Center in Edgewater.
Last year, 173 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty. On average, they left behind 2 children. It may be many years later when these children are ready for school. Their parent sacrificed their life for us. But who remembers the child when it comes time to help with education expenses? Moment of Silence was founded to provide educational support for surviving children of parents who've sacrificed their lives in the line of duty while protecting our freedom as a law enforcement officer, firefighter, EMS practitioner, or United States military service member. They also provide assistance to the seriously wounded or disabled and their families. For more information, please visit momentofsilenceinc.org. Are nagging aches and pains getting the best of you? Dr. Robert A. Kayal and his team can return you to the pain-free life you deserve. Kayal Orthopedic Center surgeons are experts in minimally invasive surgery, sports medicine, partial and total joint replacement, foot and ankle reconstruction, spinal disorders, platelet-rich plasma, bone density testing, laser therapy, and more. Call 201-560-0711 to schedule your appointment or stop by their state-of-the-art Franklin Lakes facility. Don't let pain take over your life. Call today, 201-560-0711. Feeling tired and sluggish and weak? Come where hundreds are going to get healthy. Tri-State Wellness Center, located at 31-00 Broadway, first floor, Fair Lawn, New Jersey. It's your one-stop medical center with new advanced medicine and therapy to help you look and feel better. Call the Tri-State Wellness Center today at 201-791-7771 for a consultation. That's 201-791-7771.
In this country. Is this the problem? That they're there too many guns? Or are there too many irrational, deranged people with access to guns? Do we take them all away? Or allow the normal, sane ones to keep them? How do we know if they're really normal? There's never been a bigger battle between left and right in this country. Whose side are you on? Not sure? Listen a little more. Because our hosts know the answer. AM 970. The answer.
Welcome back to Your World Uncensored on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back in here with Mr. Martinez, Teddy Martinez, bad guy turned good, former drug dealer, former gang member, turned his life around. We're on the bad part of his life. Sir, on the streets, did you ever were there any policemen out there, detectives, that really looked the part of a detective? They had their maybe a little magnifying glass or whatever. Did you ever come across any of those guys?
I'm going to say this, and I hope, you know what I'm saying, I think the thing about it is that you do, but at the same time, I think that where I was at, I think some of them stayed out my way. And you got some of them that, you know, pretty much, because we all grew, like some of us grew up together. You know, some of us, at that time, we grew up together, but you had the older detectives like Steve and them, you know, like, and, you know, other detectives that, you know, out there that, you know, was dirty.
But a lot, Martinez, we're talking about Della Russo laser vision. It's the best, any kind of their most experienced LASIK surgeons using the most advanced technologies. No blade, wave-like IQ LASIKs. They got 4 locations, Manhattan, New Jersey, Long Island, and Brooklyn. The New Jersey office is at 1 North Washington Ave, Bergenfield, New Jersey. The phone number 201-384-7333. If you have any vision problems, go see these guys. Mr. Olympio?
Ted, on a day in jail, explain to me what happens. Run throughout the day. Tell me what happens in jail.
What happens? I mean, you get up early, you know what I'm saying? You want to get up before the doors bust because, you know, you don't want to be caught laying in your bunk. So that's the first thing. You know, you go to breakfast or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Once you go to breakfast, most dudes, you know, they have a job to go to a school because, like in the federal system, you have to work. It's not sweet as people think it is. You have to work. You know, everybody must have a job. And you're only getting paid in most jobs. You know, sometimes you get paid $5 a month. That's maintenance pay.
Now, the other thing that people misunderstand or under the misconception that in jail you get a free schooling, free education.
Nah,
strain that out for me, please.
First of all, prison nowadays is not about rehabilitation. They're not trying to rehabilitate anybody. They're straight housing people. You know, they're building more jails than they are in colleges. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so it's about housing. It's not about rehabilitation. And a lot of times, you know, people get this misconception that all you do is work out, you eat, you sleep. Now that's false. You go when by the time you get up in the morning and by the time 8, 9 o'clock come, you're working, you're going to school, you're tired. You're too tired to do anything else. But as far as education goes, you have to make a sacrifice to want to pursue your education. Like I went and I pursued, you know, a degree because I wanted to give my kids something. You know, I tried to reverse the process of an activity that I had, and I wanted to show my kids, you know, that you still could come up out of, you know, this situation with something good. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to focus and you have to put your mind to it.
But I tell you what, you have 15 years you were sitting there. Did you ever feel sorry for the people you sold the drugs to who might have OD'd or might have been shot? Or did that run ever through your mind, Ted?
I mean, I felt sorry for the dudes that you know, on the street. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just come to jail. I mean, I was conscious on the street, but, you know, I think that to the most part, I mean, people I sold drugs to, nah, I didn't even care.
You didn't feel that?
Nah, I mean, you know, I didn't force them to do that.
We'll be back next segment, studio call number 866-970-962. We're here with Mr. Teddy Martinez. We're going to be talking in the next segment about how he transformed his life. We'll be back.
The Brooklyn Wall of Remembrance in MCU, formerly Keith Band Park, stands as a graceful and beautiful tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice on September 11th, 2001. Comprised of 3 30-by-12-foot granite walls, the Coney Island Memorial contains the laser-engraved images of 346 firefighters, 37 Port Authority officers, 23 New York City police officers, 3 NYS officers, 1 fire patrol, first responders, and 1 canine rescue dog named Sirius. Touched by the magnitude of their sacrifice, Brooklyn-born and raised Sal Moglin conceived of the idea for a memorial. On the wall, their portraits form a powerful, unforgettable testament, eloquently spoken, reminding us these are real people behind the names and numbers of September 11th. Please visit www.brooklynwall.org for more information. www.brooklynwall.org.
Midland Anesthesia and Pain Management have multiple alternatives to classic back surgery to ease your pain due to herniated and bulging discs, sciatica. Our professional staff performs minimally invasive procedures such as epidural injections, facet injections, and nerve root blocks to release you from a restrictive lifestyle due to pain. Our knowledgeable physicians will individualize a treatment plan to return you to optimal health. Call Midland Anesthesia and Pain Management to schedule your appointment today at 973-685-7121. That's 973-685-7121. We're located at 190 Midland Avenue in Settlebrook, New Jersey. That's 973-685-7121.
Hurricane Sandy left many people without vehicles. The staff at All-American Ford have dedicated themselves to giving you the biggest savings on every car, truck, van, and SUV in stock, with savings up to $10,000 off MSRP, plus an additional $500 in Hurricane Sandy relief cash. Our stores are open with full inventory. We even have hybrid and electric cars ready for immediate delivery. Head to All-American Ford in Hackensack, Paramus, Old Bridge, or Kingston, or visit us at allamericanford.net. If you have damage to your vehicle, our service centers and body shop are up and running. Plus, we can assist you with your insurance claim. We even have a fleet of flatbed trucks for free pickup and delivery. So for savings up to $10,000, $500 in relief cash, and the lowest prices ever, go to All-American Ford, River Street, Hackensack, Route 17, Paramus, Route 9 in Old Bridge, or Route 28 in Kingston, or visit allamericanford.net. Now, more than ever, everyone can afford an All-American Ford.
Are nagging aches and pains getting the best of you? Dr. Robert A. Kayal and his team can return you to the pain-free life you deserve. Kayal Orthopedic Center surgeons are experts in minimally invasive surgery, sports medicine, partial and total joint replacement, foot and ankle reconstruction, spinal disorders, platelet-rich plasma, bone density testing, laser therapy, and more. Call 201-560-0711 to schedule your appointment or stop by their state-of-the-art Franklin Lakes facility. Don't let pain take over your life. Call today, 201-560-0711.
The Kaplan Center for Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery at 725 River Road in Edgewater, New Jersey is the only place to go if you need Botox and facial rejuvenation, breast augmentation, liposuction, lacerations, workers' comp cases, hand and finger injuries, skin moles, carpal tunnel, and much more. Call Dr. Gordon N. Kaplan at 201-786-1977, 201-786-1977. Discounted rates for union members. Most insurance is accepted. The Kaplan Center in Edgewater.
Welcome back to Your World Uncensored on AM 970, The Answer.
Back in the studio with Mr. Martinez, 15 years. He was in prison in Baltimore. He was in there for being a bad guy. He came out. You started when you came out, how did you transform your life? You got a degree?
Yeah, well, I got a degree while I was in prison and so forth, and I created mentoring programs. I was tired of seeing young men coming in and out, and they was getting younger and younger. So I said, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this no more. But my transformation started prior to going in. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things is, you get tired of witnessing kids and friends get murdered. So you just get tired. You know what I mean? That you would think that at some point you get tired, and I got tired early.
So this was when you were in prison. Then when you went back out to the streets, how was that life?
I seen it. What happened was, I decided to start my nonprofit organization. I seen a guy get murdered, in Patterson, as I was driving up I decided that I wanted to, try to, unite the community to try to, put a cure to this violence. And so, I started an organization called Project Change. And from that, we moved into doing rallies, and we do go to the high schools and speak to kids, and we move as far as, we just recently completed a documentary called Death by Design. Me and a guy named Jamal Hall directed it.
And what was that about?
It's about pretty much the urban violence and how, it affects the family members in the city, and, get the views of community and other law enforcement agencies and how they feel about it, and if they feel like that the death of our youth that's killing each other in the city, is it by design or is it not by design? So we probably taking a hard look at the violence, in a real gritty way.
How about the gang truce? How did the youngsters react to that? You started a gang truce in Patterson?
They reacted well, because at the time, me and a guy, named Kenyatta, he's an attorney. we pretty much orchestrated, a gang truce between, certain gangs. And at the time, it was a violence. It was in a high violence, and we wanted the gang to sit down with the community because this is what the misconception was. The thing was the community was blaming the gangs for all the violence, and it wasn't actually the gang. It was just random acts. So we wanted the community. We wanted to close that gap. So we excluded all the politicians and the law enforcement agency. We brought the community to sit down with the gang and had an open forum, and it went well.
What was the solution in the end?
The solution was the community got a better understanding that these kids, some of these guys out here that's in gangs are just kids. That not all of them were bad kids. That not all of them had records. Not all of them was banging. You got a difference between a gang banger or wannabe. And so. Do
you think it cut down on the crimes at all? Do you think the crime de-escalated because of this?
At that year, I think it did. I think it could have been a whole lot worse that year. But I think that after that, the follow. I think we lack follow-up. I think that we don't have enough men in our community to stand up and do what we need them to do as mentors and so forth. And I think that's one of the issues.
So, Ted, let me ask you a question. You look in the mirror this morning, right? What do you think? What do you see?
What do I see? I see a blessed individual. You know what I'm saying? I see a man that's blessed. I see a man that's still, every day, I question myself whether or not if I'm doing enough or, whether or not, if I'm working. But then, I still have to keep fighting because I made that change. And I say, and I didn't make the change because somebody said something to me. I made the change because I became conscious by reading and just wanting to really change for my family. So I think that everybody had the potential to change.
I tell you, I admire and respect you because this is not easy, especially coming back into town and working with the youths and trying to do the positive thing. I'm sure there's some haters out there that you dealt with in the past, and when you do run into them, what happens? Do they say anything? You going the wrong way? What's up?
No, I mean, you got guys that, I've got guys that told me that they disappointed in me because I came home and started doing positive stuff. But, bottom line is this, at the end of the day, nobody's sitting at 6x9, nobody's but me. Nobody's
exactly.
For my kids. I'm still struggling right now, even, to build a relationship with my children because, I go home, my daughter, she's driving Tonka trucks and, my son's driving Tonka trucks. And when I come home, they driving real cars. So it's like, I got grown.
But don't you feel coming from making $500 to $1 million a year and now making, just surviving, does that ever tell you, what, I'm going to go back in the game and make some money? I mean, sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes, you feel that, like, what I'm saying, like, man, this is, but for the birds, it's not even worth it, you know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, I think the reward is, what I'm saying, being able to pick the phone up and, and call my daughter, or being able to go by my mom's house and knowing I'm there for her and so forth. I think that you have to be able to balance the two and understand, like, you could go chase that dream and lose everything in the process because you got to understand that even though that you may not be financially wealthy, you're still wealthy because you're able to be here for your sons, your daughter, your nieces. Right, the important things in life.
The important things in life, and that's more important than any type of dollar amount. Trust me, having that money there is a whole lot easier, for a whole lot of people, but it's not the solution.
Ted, to sum it all up, would it be fair to say that because of your legitimacy in the drug game and the past you had in the past of the gangs, when you went back out there to mentor these children, it made you that more authentic to them, so therefore they're really grasped on and listened to what you said? Would it be fair to say because of that you were able to change lives and maybe take a bad and look at it in a positive way? Would that be fair? Yeah, that's a great assessment because I think that a lot of people they still see the onslaught of violence that's going on in the city and they be like, well, you guys are doing this and nothing's changed. It is changing because what I'm saying, if people always say like, oh, if you save one life. No, we don't try to save one life. We try to save a dozen lives. And it's also and the kids that's out there that you see that's out there that's on the streets daily, they're going to be out there. But it's the kids that's straddling that fence that you want him to stay on the right side. So it's like a target, but we got to start young. We got to start when they're 5 and 6 and 7. You can't start when they're 18, 19. You can't go back and say, I'm going to change this kid's life because that's a hard fight. But the ones that's 5, 7, 8, 12, those are the ones that you have to target more and, and try to get them to change their mindset. And then, what I'm saying, that's when you see the results. You know what I'm saying? We see the results. You've seen positive results.
Yeah, we see positive results. And everything that we do, everything we see do in the community is not noticeable. Every time you touch somebody's life, that's not going to be noticeable.
These kids aren't stats.
You say they're not?
They're not stat numbers. They're real. They're human beings. You treated them like that.
Yeah. They're not stats to us. You know what I'm saying? But they're statistically, you know what I'm saying? I think that they want them to fail in a lot of ways. But you know, we strive to keep them positive, keep them fighting and not becoming a felon, or becoming a statistic to violence.
Mr. Martinez, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I hope our audience learned something. We'll see you next week. Same station, same channel, 970 AM. Pleasure having you.
Same here.
Mr. Limpio, take care.
It was a true pleasure. Thank you, Ted.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Your World Uncensored. Hear it every Sunday morning at 11 on AM 970, The Answer. Your World Uncensored, sponsored by Envisage Productions.
Get sucked into the discussion. Curtis and Jeffrey, weekdays 5 to 7 on AM 970. The Answer.
The Brooklyn Wall of Remembrance in MCU, formerly Keyspan Park, stands as a graceful and beautiful tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice on September 11th, 2001. Comprised of 3 30-by-12-foot granite walls, the Coney Island Memorial contains the laser-engraved images of 346 firefighters, 37 Port Authority officers, 23 New York City police officers, 3 NYS officers, 1 fire patrol, first responders, and 1 canine rescue dog named Sirius. Touched by the magnitude of their sacrifice, Brooklyn-born and raised Sal Moglin conceived of the idea for a memorial. On the wall, their portraits form a powerful, unforgettable testament, eloquently spoken, reminding us these are real people behind the names and numbers of September 11th. Please visit www.brooklynwall.org for more information. www.brooklynwall.org.
This is AM 970. The Answer, a division of Salem Communications, on the NASDAQ at SALM, WNYM, Hackensack, New Jersey.
Fox News Radio, I'm Sal Giangrasso. They're gearing